Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to conference. First day of Postal Constituency Conference and Telecoms and Financial Constituency Conference as well. Delighted to be joined by Deputy General Secretary Postal Terry Pullinger. Afternoon, Terry.
All right, mate.
So that was a massive debate we've just had, obviously hot off the press to the members here who carried a motion that you've got negotiations with Royal Mail Group on pay next week. Yep. If they're not moving forward, then you're going to enter the period of the legally contracted period of negotiations with a company over 4 weeks, and we're going to simultaneously run a ballot. That's a big moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Just moved emergency motion, but also saw unbelievable degrees of emotion and anger and disappointment and everything you would expect from our reps because of the position that we're in with Royal Mail. So we had told people previously that we wrote to the company in February. We knew that the cost of living crisis was biting. We knew our members' pockets were being tested. We know what they've done all through the pandemic, and we know they deserve a pay rise. But also they deserve a pay rise which rewards them for what they've done, but also protects them from this cost of living crisis. And you would think the company, with all the agreements we've got and the trust agenda and the new culture and everything else, would be working with us to do that in the best way that we possibly can. But instead of that, they've insulted us and insulted our members, insulted all our reps, insulted our executive by making an offer to us, which is an absolute disgrace. And quite frankly, for the members that are listening, that offer is nothing, no pay rise, unless we are prepared to sell our souls, sell our agreements, and sell out the next generation of postal workers. So they're trying to put a pay deal with strings. They're trying to circumvent our pathway to change agreement, which should be nothing to do with pay this year. And even if we were to do all that, they're saying it will be 3.5%. So 2% if we agree all that, another 1.5% if we deploy all the things they're talking about and all the changes. And part of that is making everything later start times, pushing everything back, annualised hours, all the stuff that was on the table when Rico Back was about and that we've previously dealt with even with other CEOs. So despite all the good work and all the good working relationship, this union being totally honourable in an unbelievably difficult situation in terms of the pandemic, but still delivering on the agreement we made, we are the honourable people. We've got the narrative. This is a pure act of a Royal Mail Group board going back to where they were before. Suddenly they feel the shareholders' money and profit is being threatened. So instead of putting postal workers first and continuing with our program to reinvent Royal Mail, which is still there, medium, long term is still positive, still very positive. Instead of that, they choose to immediately attack the very people that have delivered the service and turn around the finances of his business. They are attacking every one of our members. And I tell you, we've just debated an emergency motion which says we ain't having that. We are not going months and months of talks. We're not having any strings. We want a pay rise that our members deserve and need. And if necessary, we will fight for it. So the timescales we've given them, so every one of you know, is if by the end of next week, we're not in, an agreement is not in sight, we will instigate in line with our legally binding dispute resolution procedures, the 4-week period to resolve it. During that 4-week period, of course, because at the end of the 4 weeks, either party says what their intentions are. Well, they will know our intentions because we will be preparing and doing our ballot in that period of time so that we are ready to go. We're not going to have them impose things on us at the end of that 4 weeks and we can't react. But the message now is to the members. We don't want strike. The union never does this for strike. We want the right agreements for our members. We travel in that pragmatic way, but we carry a big stick, which this union is proud of. That's our members, the solidarity we have, and the fact that we return massive yes votes. I cannot believe this is such a mistake by the Royal Mail Board to call this on when we've got an excellent agreement which has all the promise of the future that protects this great public service and protects the employment standard of living and retirement security of the people who work for it, like it has done for the last 500 years. And they are clearly signalling that they want to turn their back on that by trying to drag elements of that into our pay talks, which should be completely separate. And we ain't having it. You deserve it. There's a debt of honour and we are determined to give you the opportunity to fight for it. And we believe every one of you will support this trade union if that's what it comes to.
Thanks, Terry. I mean, you've all got there, a detailed explanation of where we are from Terry, including that outrageous offer from the company. Terry, one of the things that I took from the debate, led by yourself, obviously, but in all the contributions, every single one really was one, anger, but two, people expressing a need for us to be calm, us to be controlled. I mean, because I can imagine now, remember, all of our members who have put so much on the line during the pandemic, given so much to the company, kept this country connected. And quite frankly, I just, not to sugarcoat it, probably think they're having a piss taken out of them by Royal Mail with that offer. And we're probably absolutely fuming hearing you setting out the terms of what they put on the table. Like, how important is it that, we channel that anger in the right way and with calm and with the poise you've set out at the rostrum?
Well, it's cool heads and steady hands, isn't it? But in a way that we can, if necessary, inflict the best possible dispute that ends up getting our members what they deserve. So we know what's happened in the past. Rather than try and sit down and negotiate with us, tough negotiations, they try to go to the courts, they try to block us, they try to do all these things. We can't allow them to muddy the waters. This is solely about pay. So people need to understand that. If we have disagreements that emerge from the Pathway to Change agreement, revisions or whatever, when we deal with them as well, we'll deal with that. But this is strictly about pay. It's about nothing else. We're still committed to the Pathway to Change agreement. So it's very important that people understand that. Lots of people have been disappointed in the past when they've realised that the trade union laws in this country are stacked against trade union and stacked against you trying to defend yourself or protest when something is clearly wrong, like this. And we've got to take those lessons of the past, and we've got to be aware of that, and we've got to be really, really disciplined about that. So, yes, angry, but disciplined, cool heads and steady hands, but really mean it, and we really mean it. This is an insult. I said to the conference that, to be honest with you, last Thursday when we met them, and don't forget, we wrote to them in February, we saw this problem coming. We saw the cost of living crisis, and we wanted to get that dealt with quickly so we could move on with our Pathway to Change agreement. And we only got a meeting last Thursday, 2 weeks later. And then they put that on the table. And you can't help take it personally. I take it personally for every single one of our members who had the backs of this country during that pandemic, that were out there doing it as key workers, along with other key workers, with people clapping, people banging saucepans, everyone celebrating. These new rock stars, if you like, ordinary working people that kept the country going. Our members kept everyone connected, helped people, even in terms of their mental health, by making sure they were delivering their parcels, their packets, just keeping the economy bobbing along. That was you. That was our members. And now you get this. Now they dump on you by saying you only get some reward for that. You only get a pay rise. As I say, if you sell your soul, sell out our agreements, and sell out the next generation of postal workers. It's an absolute disgrace. And if you're not prepared to stand up and defend yourself against that, then I don't know. But I know you will, because we are the strongest fighting workplace trade union in this country. And once again, we'll be forced to prove it. And I'll tell you what, society will stand up and applaud us. I think the public will applaud us and all, because you've only got to watch the news to know there's so much injustice out there. There is so many people who are getting dumped on in this way by the people with wealth and power. That's what's happening. So the board sit there. See these board members. We're going to be calling them out and all. These people who sit on the board and make the decision, right? They're there. Some of them have got 3 different jobs on 3 different boards, pulling loads of money. You never see them go into a delivery office or a processing centre. Perhaps they should get off their fat arse and go and do something and see what it is our members actually do. And then perhaps they'll treat them with more respect. And if they won't, then we'll force them to.
Thanks, Tal. I know you're busy and you've got to get back. Just 2 more things I want to ask you. Firstly, Andy, our Deputy General Secretary in Telecom Financial Services is there. And and we got obviously the ballot in BT that's going to go ahead. And and this cost of living crisis is hitting workers everywhere, including our members. If you had a chance now to deliver a message right now to the company, on almost their moral obligation to sort this issue out at pace, given the impact of the cost of living crisis, what would it be?
Well, it's how can you treat people this way? How can you even look in the mirror? I'll tell you what, every one of the people at the top, whether they sit on the board I'll just let get rip at them then. Whether they sit on a board, whether they're the CEO, whether they're the ops director, they are earning fortunes compared to our members. They are earning money. So they look after themselves. It's like a lot of the shareholders. What we're saying is this was a long-term plan. This was an agreement that we were honouring. There is there's a debt of honour that's got to be paid to our members. The finances of this company, as it happened, were turned round during COVID. But who were the only people working? The biggest percentage of people working through that pandemic were our people. There weren't board members out there doing it, was it? And they're probably still getting their lumps from all the different boards they sit on and make judgment on working people and what they should have and what they shouldn't have. This is what's so frustrating with me. We came out of bad 4 years, didn't we? 3 record-breaking ballots. We got an agreement where it lays out the mutual interest approach to the future. We've been delivering that agreement. In the last few months, we've struggled to move that forward because there ain't been the managers there. They've been getting rid of managers, bringing new managers in. No one knows who's leading what. And then they try to make it as if it's our members' fault that suddenly they've got to watch their finances. They're still going to announce profits. They're still going to announce profits. But what they do is they put shareholders first. They put investment there first. And the things that's last, the last thing they reward or invest in is their greatest asset. And that is our members. That is the people who work for Royal Mail. This ain't just about kicking off. This is about justice, isn't it? It's about justice. It is completely the wrong way to treat working people. And then it's funny how as soon as push comes to shove, they revert. So all the nice language, all the nice treat you like this, make this a place proud for our, the next generation to work in and stuff like that. As soon as them at the top feel their pockets being tested or their job threatened, because the board might sack them or the shareholders might try and force and sack them or force to bust up this company, we can't work like that. We can't work where every 6 months we're under threat because you've got to report back to shareholders and they're not happy with what you report back. None of the growth has happened. We ain't got any of the new products and services. That we did all the test kits, everything we done for this nation, and they got financial reward out of that. But it was our members doing it all. And now when it comes to that, what I can't believe is they haven't said, well, there's X amount of percentage. Yeah. Now, if you want more, you've got to do that. All right, we might still definitely had the about that. We want a straight pay deal. But they've not said that. Chris, they're offering us nothing. They're offering you nothing unless, as I say and I repeat, we sell our souls, sell our agreements and sell out the next generation of postal workers. And that ain't going to happen all the time we're here.
Thanks, Terry. Final, just 30 seconds or so, just give it to the members in terms of where we are and what you want from the members and we need from the members in the next few coming weeks.
Well, I'll tell you what we need, first of all. We need to drop all this nonsense that you get the right information on workplace, this Royal Mail thing that they put out there. I would suggest everyone, if you want to be kept up to date with where we are and the pay and the dispute, download the CW app for a start, because we'll be putting all the progress on there, and as well as all the other stuff we do and the videos. So if you want the truth, download the CW app. You will get plenty. They'll be giving it large on workplace, trust me. And they will be trying to frighten you and scare you into not standing with your trade union. We've had all that before, but they're going to try and use that because there's a number of people signed up to it. Surely you know now the only people that are truly representing you and truly believe that you should be rewarded. And it ain't Royal Mail Group. So whatever you hear on that workplace and that nonsense, switch off. Get behind your trade union. Look at all the comms we put out. Listen to people that are going to come to your office, your local rep, that are going to tell you what's going on. You'll have the information. We've got to move quick. I don't think we need to get back in the gym, as some suggest, because we were born ready in the CWU. We've done it before. What you've got to do is have a very simple ballot paper which says to you this is about pay, rejecting whatever pay offer they've got on the table now, and you stick with this trade union. We're the only people that will genuinely look after you and fight to protect this great public service.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you for your time. Thank you, everyone who's watching it. We'll cut up the highlights from this video so you know exactly what the messages are. But there's no pay offer on the table for you other than one with massive strings attached. You've had that set out by Terry today, and we're going to be bringing you more comms throughout this week and beyond. Take it easy, everyone.